This is the third and final part in our three-part series on getting started with the Robby framework. In this video, we'll integrate the network we created in part 2 with a simple C# program. So let's get started. So here we are. This is Visual Studio 2022. So what we have here is a dead simple little WPF program written in C#. Actually, it's just the shell of it at this point. You can see here all it's going to be is 6 text boxes, one for each of the theoretical range sensors on the Arduino, and a checkbox for turning the output on and off. I can even run it right now, and it really doesn't do anything yet, but the base program is there. Okay, so that's what we're going to be building our network into. Now let's look at how I install the framework onto my project here. So I'm going to come back into the Robby UI. And on the main console, I have a button here that says Open Config Folder Builder. So this allows us to take that JSON that we created for our demo network. Robby Demo WPF is the program we're creating. And I got to find the runtime directory for it, which is down here. And because this is the first time we've done this, I'm going to check this box which says put the runtime files for the framework over there also. And then I'm going to click this button, and now we've copied that into the runtime directory for the program. And you can see here's all the stuff we copied in there, and there's a lot of it. Okay, including these directories up here which contain the configuration for the network. All right, so that's that. Next, we're going to come back to Visual Studio here, and we'll come into our code. And the first thing we want to do is we want to add a dependency, a project reference, and we're going to browse back into the runtime directory for our project, and we're going to find master control program lib.dll, and we're going to create a reference to it. And you can see that's going to show up under assemblies down here. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to add a class file in here that already exists to save time. And this is our MCP class. And you can see here it derives from master control program base. Obviously that's coming from the DLL that we put the reference in for, which uses this namespace master control program lib. Okay, you can see here we're missing the code for this body range sensor message class. Remember, that's the model class I talked about that we're going to use based on that schema. So let's go ahead and create that. I'm going to come back in here to the message schema builder, and I'm going to click that C# button, and if all's right with the world, we're going to see it show up over here. And now I have that class as part of my project. So here we have it now. This is our MCP class. Now I'm not going to go through all this code in depth, but there's pretty simple. There's not much going on here. What I do want to point out is there's really 2 lines that are devoted to getting that output coming in from the Arduino and turning it into the model class. So this is picking up an event coming in off of the MCP class from the base class, and we just attach that to this event handler here, and we're talking to the network. Now I want to come back over here, and I'm going to go ahead and uncomment this green code here that actually connects us to the MCP class. You can see what's going on here once again is pretty much dead simple. All we're doing is taking that model class that we received from the Arduino and applying it, dispatching it out to those 6 text boxes. Okay, so we've got one more step here that we need to do before we can run this and see if it all actually works, which is we need to add in an app.config file for this program, which is a kind of a new thing to Visual Studio 2022. You'd no longer get this by default with a project. So I'm going to go ahead but you can add it in easily. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Here we have one. And now I'm going to come back out here to the runtime directory. And you can see one of the things when we installed the configuration into the project is it copied this little file here over appsettings.xml. And this is a set of configuration settings we need to actually use the network within the program. So I'm just going to copy that whole block of code of settings. That's not really code. But we're going to go ahead and copy that little block of XML into the app.config file here. And this gives us all the configuration settings we need to actually run the network. So, in theory now, if everything's in alignment, I should be able to build this project. And now to run it, and let's see here, look at that. Okay, so you can see we're getting that output off the Arduino card. Now, obviously, this is nothing earth-shaking going on here. We're not reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But you can see how simple it was for us to get the output off of that Arduino card and get it up here to the UI. As far as the communication goes, we had 2 lines of code is what it took to make this happen. So that's our little overview of the Robby framework. We're going to have a series of these videos coming out. All of the pieces that we use to build this, we're going to go into much more depth in an individual video for each of the components. And that's going to be coming out here over the next 30 days or so. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you'll try our beta when we launch that here in the next couple of months. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you all soon.